Aloha, beautiful people. I've had a lot of people asking me about meditation and what is it, how do we do it, how do I do it, and if I can do a video explaining that. So I'm going to go ahead and explain that now. I had a photo shoot today, so my makeup is looking good. Decided what a better time to make a video for you guys. Got to take advantage of that. Anyways, so what I believe meditation to be, I took a moment to actually write this down before I started this video. And this is what I wrote, so I'm just going to read it to you. It's a peaceful space of presence where you can go to connect with both everything and nothing at the same time. It's a place to quiet the mind and open the heart. It's a place of silence and stillness. It is awareness. It's focusing on your breath. It's disconnecting in a way from the human 3D self. And I'll talk about what those terms mean a little bit later. It's pure, it's calm, it's relaxation. It's when you become pure consciousness in a state of relaxation, slowing down your brain waves. It's a place that you can step out of the analytical mind, remove distractions, and both go inward in order to go outward to much more. So that's just what first came to me when I asked myself that question, and I wrote it down. When I initially started meditating, which was back in my yoga training last year in Bali, I had dabbled very, very little with meditation before, backtrack, at periods of times I was having mental health issues many, many years ago, probably 10 years ago back in Tampa. I had gone to some meditation classes and it was just sitting, listening to a teacher. I didn't really understand what they were teaching me. I gave it a shot, but I don't know that I was actually meditating. And my mind was very, very analytical. Let me also go on the record to say that I'm a Gemini. I come from a very cerebral mindset. I've always been a doer, busy, go, go, go. And meditation is like this forced stillness where you just surrender and you allow and you let go of your thoughts, which truly I never thought was something that would be possible for me. So when I took my 200-hour yoga teacher certification last March of 2024, it was really my first introduction to meditating. We had to do an hour meditation each night. And I was like, whoa, how am I going to do that, right? And at the time, it was really difficult for me. We did mantra meditations, we did seated meditations, we did some moving meditations, but laying down or sitting down and quieting my mind in complete stillness for an hour was nearly impossible at the time. So I'm saying this to let you know how quickly you can advance if you practice, because I'm now able to do 5+ hours of meditation at a time, which actually is crazy when I really think about, again, how much I was moving all the time. Something one of my yoga teachers told me last year when I told him it was very challenging for me to sit still in meditation, because truly for me laying there, it felt like bugs were crawling on my skin. It was like I wanted to move, I wanted to fidget. How were other people in the class laying there? I didn't understand it. And I went up to him and said that. I was like, it feels like my skin is crawling out of me, like I'm going crazy, I can't do it. And he was like, my dear, you are a moving person. It is okay to do moving meditations. So at that time, that's all I was doing. So in the class, I was doing the seated meditations, but they were really challenging for me. And then I got into doing more walking, dancing meditations, and more movement because I learned that's okay. And it is okay. Everybody meditates differently. Everybody's body, mind is different. Whatever works for you as an introduction, I think is great. And you eventually work toward intuitively what works the best for you, but also maybe things that you learn along the way. For me now, laying down is when I best meditate, but I still do really well with walking meditations. So I'm going to tell you what I believe meditation to be, how to practice it, how to get started, the differences between the type of meditation that I've done in yoga and the more mindfulness meditation versus what Dr. Joe teaches, And yeah, we'll just go from there. I have some notes that I'm going to read because I don't want to miss anything. But I've had this question from a lot of people. So here goes. As far as meditation in the yogic world, and I'm reading this straight from my manual, Yoga New Vision, my people. The goal of meditation is to become aware of your body, your breath, your thoughts, emotions, and also be able to teach basic meditation with your yoga class. Well, that was for me, sorry. But the focus is to become aware of your body and your breath and your thoughts and your emotions, right? So it's observation, right? It's not attaching to those thoughts. It's letting them go. So when I first started meditating, it was more focusing on the breath. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. I'll show you the technique in a minute as well. And that's the easiest way when you're starting out to get out of the busy monkey mind, which most of us have in the Western world. And I certainly did for a very, very long time. It's incredible that I can detach from that now, but it took a long time, a lot of practice. So focusing on the breath is the best way to start. Also to have music or a mantra is another great way. With yoga, we've done a lot of mantra meditation. I really liked that mantra chanting. It gave me like something to think of. So I was using Sanskrit mantras, but you can use, your own just, I am breathing. I am breathing. You can keep saying that. And then it takes your mind, slows down the brain waves, and you have something to focus on. You can even do meditations where you look at a candle or you're observing something. There's all different variations. So, but as far as like the yoga type of meditations, that's the way it's mostly described. It's more about becoming really aware and detaching from your thoughts, letting them pass like a cloud in the sky. So your mind is the sky and the thoughts pass through, and just watch them float away, drift away. As I'm saying that, it sounds a little cheesy because that is the way you're taught and that is the way I was taught. But for me, I was like, but okay, that thought just keeps going. Thought, same thought, right? It was almost like it wouldn't let go. So I've worked on some other techniques, like again, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, out and in. Counting my breath sometimes helps me. I'm talking from the very beginning, how are you getting started? So it's a meditation 101, and I'm going to scale up to kind of like what I'm doing now. So you can also listen, you can walk, you can be seated, you can be laying down. There is my yoga teacher who taught me all about walking meditations and how I'm a moving person. I want to let you know it's okay if you're also a moving person. The other things, misconceptions about meditation, it's concentration. It's not. Concentration is a step toward it. Is it introspection? No, it's not really thinking about yourself. Eastern psychology says be aware. Don't try to analyze. There is no need. Just look at it, but with awareness. And that's kind of how you start to go about your whole life when you're a yogi, with awareness, with consciousness. How do you know if you're meditating right? This is a really, really great part. If you're doing it right, meditation brings you more sensitivity, relaxation, lightness, watchfulness, and an immense well-being feeling of ease. So you know that you're kind of going down the wrong track if you're feeling more irritable, more miserable, more frustrated, and that's okay. Just like you can step away from it if you're new. I try to, instead of pushing away my thoughts, because that becomes challenging, just start to focus on the space between the thoughts, and that space will eventually become more and more. And if I'm having continuous thoughts while I'm meditating that I can't really let go of, I thank them. I try to come at them with love rather than anger, because when you're meditating and you're getting upset and angry and rattled up, you're kind of like taking say you have a glass of water and it's got sand in it and you're shaking it around, right? The sand is going to rise, the dirt's going to rise, whatever's in there, and it's going to get all muddled up. That's what you're doing with your mind. You're getting it flustered and you're going to keep having frustrations. If you let the sediment settle down to the bottom of the glass, then you're going to have a clear glass of water, and then you're going to have a clear mind. So if you thank your thoughts, if you just say, okay, they're there, I'm present, I'm here, I see you, I release you, I love you. When you come at it with more compassion, that is a beautiful way to welcome those thoughts. God, I just sounded so New York. That is where I'm from. But anyway, then you let them pass. So that's kind of the yogic way of meditating. And eventually it will click as you experiment. Just be playful, be patient, don't have an agenda. I'm going to talk about the difference between yoga meditation and Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditation. That is now what I've gotten really, really into, and I view meditation very differently than I did before. So for me, it started more with yoga. It also was a way for me to try to quiet my mind when I had insomnia when I was younger. And I would use an app called Mind Spa, which I absolutely loved. I think that's still the name of it. It was like a 20-minute meditation. It was like 3 minutes of them talking, kind of telling you what to think or like guiding you, and then 20 minutes of music. And it was a way that helped me quiet my mind and fall asleep. And it was really, really beautiful, like binaural beats. What else? I also sometimes would just use music. I've used Calm and what's the other one? I can't think of the other. Insight Timer. I wasn't ever particularly fond of those meditation apps. Mind Spa was the one that was really helpful for me in the beginning. And I even tried to do Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations about a year ago, and I didn't really like them at first. Until this year, when I took his retreat, I had difficulty kind of getting into the meditations. And I've heard that from a lot of different people. Some people don't like the music. Some people don't like the sound of his voice. He talks a little trippy, mystical, and there's a reason for that. And now that I know that, I love his meditations. I basically won't do any other kind of meditation. So I think that says a lot when you learn his practices. It's more about being the quantum creator of your life. You use meditation to, yes, observe your thoughts, but then step away from those thoughts. And again, focusing on the space puts you into the quantum field of infinite possibilities where you are the creator of your own life. So I'm going to give you another couple quick definitions about what Dr. Joe describes meditation as. The purpose of meditation is to slow the brain waves, moving beyond the analytical brain, entering a state where the body is relaxed, but the mind remains conscious and aware. So for me personally, I've always had difficulty falling asleep. So I prefer to lay down when I meditate because it helps me relax, and my mind is always alert. For many other people, he has them sit up because he doesn't want you falling asleep when you're doing his meditations, because a lot of other people have the problem that they fall asleep easily. So if they're sitting up, they stay more conscious. So that's just a matter of preference, whether you lay or sit when you're doing his meditations. He also describes it as the doorway between the unconscious and the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is what's, behind the analytical mind, and not something we're usually tapped into, but that's where our patterns and our behaviors are wired into our brain. And that's where we're able to change and create. So I'll go deeper into talking about how to do Dr. Joe's specific meditations, I think, in the next video, but I just want to get through like what he describes it as, how you can get started. And I personally would recommend not starting with Dr. Joe's meditations. I would recommend something simpler, shorter, more about observation and just letting go of the mind before you dive head first, because I think it takes a little bit of time to learn his stuff. And I'm not saying a year, like maybe a month of just practicing the other way. And then once you take his courses or his retreat, you'll be able to really understand how and why he presents information the way he does, how you can create from the infinite void that is inside us and all around us. When you connect to nothing, you connect to everything. From there, you can send out a conscious, intentional thought with your brain. that sends a signal out, and then you draw it in with your coherent heart. We're using an elevated emotion to rise your frequency and draw in what you are trying to create. It's much deeper than that. I'm not a super technical person. I kind of try things for myself after I hear them. And then when I see change in my life, that's when I believe. So for me, yes, I learned the science behind all of this stuff. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a scientist or a doctor, because I'm not. It was the power of my own beliefs and rewiring my subconscious that got me to, one, use meditations to win the Ms. Hawaii United USA title. Two, cure my lifelong insomnia. That is the one that is for me like the biggest and the craziest that I was able to get over this year at his retreat. And then it's really about being present. That's another thing I want to mention. It's not thinking about the past or the future. If your mind is in either one of those places, you are not in creation mode. If you are present, you are aware, you are in this current moment, you are also connecting to like the 0 point where there's no space, no time, and every possibility exists. And once you're able to get to that point, then that's how you can use his meditations to create and manifest and make things happen fast. Because when you're at that point, you are love, you are source, you are one with the creator, and there's no space and time there. So from that space, things will happen really quickly in your outer world, but you're creating them from your inner world. I can go much, much, much deeper on that, but essentially I'm just gonna go and say a few more things about raising your own vibration. We are 99.9 empty space. So we're only aware of like this tiny bit of matter that we really are. So when we're able to tap into everything else, again, that's where we are the powerful creators of our life. You lose your own identity to become one with source, God, consciousness, whatever you want to call that, right? So that's a quick bit about yogic meditations versus Dr. Joe meditations. The other thing I want to show you is how to breathe. So I encourage you to start breathing in through the nose, the slower you can have your breath. Out through the mouth, the slower you can go with your breaths. Long, slow, deep breaths is what we call it in yoga. The more you're able to slow down your brain waves. And ideally, you're doing this in your conscious state of mind too, not just when you're meditating. So you have a lot more clarity when you're able to do that. I already feel after that breath that I just took on camera, I'm talking more slowly. I'm not running through a bunch of different ideas in my mind. You can see my speech slowed down. I think I even sat up a little bit taller. So something else that I want to show you, and I'm going to try to show you on my abdomen, but I'm skinny, so this might not be the best example. But how you want to breathe. Pull this from the side here. All right, this is perfect. Your back should be straight when you're sitting. You could be sitting on a chair with your feet flat. You can be cross-legged. You could be laying down. But essentially, I normally take my left hand to my heart and my right hand to my belly when I'm meditating, and that's how I feel my belly expanding into my heart and my chest. But I'm not going to hold that space or you won't be able to see it. Your back should be and spine should be straight and tall. And your stomach should be relaxed, shoulders back, tall spine. I don't know if you can see this when I breathe in. My stomach expands. When I exhale, it goes in. And not only am I breathing out, I'm breathing in and down. Does that make sense? So you want to picture like a balloon in this whole part in the inside of your stomach that's expanding and opening up and closing down. And then you're also breathing upwards into the chest. So I don't know if that helps to have my hands there or not. So other than that, a lot of people ask me what my favorite Dr. Joe meditations are. So concentrate on the breath. First of all, give yourself plenty of patience and grace with this process. I will say this till I am blue in the face. A year and a half ago, I could not meditate for more than 5 minutes. Now I can lay there and meditate for 5 hours at a time. Sometimes you get ideas during that time. Sometimes you get messages. Sometimes you zone out. Sometimes you find a ton of peace. Sometimes you find a ton of excitement. There are so many different ways to meditate, but you'll eventually intuitively know what works best for you as you go through the process. So personally, like I said, I love laying down when I'm meditating. That really lets me relax. Sitting up is like, meh, I'm too concentrating on me seated, and I don't need that because I won't fall asleep when I'm laying down. I really like walking meditations. Anything you do with full intention, concentration, presence when nothing else is there could even be a meditation. Washing the dishes could be a meditation. Watching a flame on a candle could be a meditation. Staring at a sunrise when you're fully present and there with nothing else distracting you can be a meditation. So there's a whole variety of ways that you can meditate. I went over how to get started, how to focus on the breath, yogic meditations, mindfulness versus Dr. Joe, and kind of that empowering creator space. And then the last thing I'm just going to talk about real quick, because I get this question a lot, is what are my favorite Dr. Joe meditations? And then we'll dive a little deeper on how to, meditate the way he describes it in the next video. But my favorite Dr. Joe meditations, I wrote a few down. The generous present moment. He's got great music in all of his meditations that really help you go into that void and that space and kind of get out of your own head and get out of your own way. Tuning in with your heart. I love meditations that get me in touch with my heart, because the more you are connected to your heart, you're connected to your soul, you're connected to all that is the place where we create. Tuning into new potentials. That one and the tuning in with your heart are the meditations I primarily used when I was manifesting the Ms. Hawaii win. So just putting that out there. Changing boxes. That is a really great meditation where you start off and you are, the person that you are right now. And then you have this one thing that you want to fix and you step into the box where you no longer have that. That is the meditation that cured my insomnia for me during the Dr. Joe retreat, which I cried like a baby during that meditation. It's still unbelievable how powerful our thoughts are and our subconscious programming is. What else? Walking meditations, number 10, mindful heart and heartful mind. Beautiful. I always cry during those. I really like the walk like a mystic, number 13. I feel like powerful and empowered, and he's got all really great music. What else? My original plan for this was to have some music playing in the background, and I forgot to put that on. So we'll leave that quietly there for you guys while I finish up this video. And then generating abundance. He has an hour-long meditation called Generating Abundance. I really, really love the music in that one, and I feel very alive after it. And he has a lot more music than talking. For me, hearing the introduction with his voice is great, but when I keep hearing him talk, as much as I love Dr. Joe and he's changed my life, I need more music time so I can just let go and not have anything like kind of distracting me. And then he's got a series of generating meditations that are all like 15 minutes each. He's got gratitude, empowerment, inspiration. Joy is one that I really like because I've had some cool, joyful things that have come out of it. And then coherence healings, we'll talk about that another time because I love, love, love those. And last but not least, my absolute favorite meditation that he has is called Out Picturing. It's about 28 minutes long. I, yours truly, am the poster child for that one. That's probably why I love it. But he talks about creating, and when he shared my story on his Stories of Transformation, that's when he debuted the Out Picturing meditation. So I'm kind of like the poster child for that one. And it's all about, again, everything we talked about, where you're going into your inner world, you're letting go of your outside environment, and then you're creating from that space. But it's really like feeling those strong, empowering, elevated emotions of awe, gratitude, love that draw those frequencies in. When you can really visualize yourself and taste, touch the experience, like you can create that in your inner world, it will happen in the outer world. Last two things that I'm going to say before I sign off here. Highly recommend getting some headphones that are noise canceling. I meditate so much better when there are zero distractions. I also will say I probably meditate even better alone than with a group, although the power of a group is very, very intense and amazing and helpful as well when you kind of bring all the hearts, minds, souls together. But at home, for sure, no distractions, always have a set of headphones. And then get yourself a good eye mask. They have these that like seal in and you get no light. This one is from, I think, the Inner Science Coalition. Highly recommend those two things. A blanket if you're cold. You want to be comfortable. And then that's how you set yourself up for the best possible meditation. So I'm going to close this out with a few moments of silence, this meditative song, and I'm just going to breathe and I'll let you drift away for a moment with me as well. I don't know about you, but I feel more peaceful just after that breath. Nature sounds are really helpful for meditating. You can also do silence meditations. That's just as challenging for me. Again, I am so grateful to everyone that tunes in. I really hope that helped. If you have other questions, please drop them below in the comments section. I'm still working on, how I show up in these videos, and I want to help as many people as I can because I have been able to radically change my life for the better because of yoga, because of meditation, because of the manifestation techniques that I have learned and used. And I really want everybody to have that same opportunity and feel as great as I do. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this video, like, share, follow, subscribe, send to your friends. Let me know how else I can help. Thank you so much, and namaste. I'll see you next time.